Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Masters of the Universe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, New Eternia, Skeletor and Havok Throne. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging, and here we have the front, and I have to say this is very, very beautiful artwork all over this packaging. At the top here it says Masterverse 6 and up, and then there's some nice artwork of Skeletor sitting on the Havok throne, and he's got a Havok staff there, and then there's some sort of snake staff in the background here. Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Mattel. And then let's take a look over on this side. And we got some nice artwork of Screech, Evil-Lyn, and Panther. Evil-Lyn and Panther, I do believe, were shown, at least prototypes, were shown at San Diego Comic-Con. But Screech, not so much. Maybe he's coming in a 2-pack down the road. But we did get to see Panther. And we did get to see Evil-Lyn, although she didn't have like this yellow tinge to her, at least from the pictures that I saw. And over on this side, some more nice artwork, and it's all wraparound artwork, so that's really cool. So then we have Merman, who's just recently went up for pre-order as of this recording, and then another figure that was shown off at San Diego Comic-Con, Beastman. So maybe we are getting Screech. He's coming soon, hopefully. And then on the back again, it wraps around, and you see you got this nice snake. Looks like it's crawling up to the top of the box, and on the top of the box, it does wrap around as well. And you can see the snake up there, and so that is cool. And then here what it says on the box: from deep within Snake Mountain, Skeletor rules from the Bone Throne. An ancient artifact created by the original inhabitants of Snake Mountain from the poisoned bones of wyverns. I probably didn't say that right. The Bone Throne now serves as a conduit for Skeletor's Havok magic to seek out and capture the power of Grayskull. And then down here it says, unassembled warning. This toy produces flashes that may trigger epilepsy in sensitive individuals. So you have been warned. Requires 3 AAA batteries, not included. Dispose of batteries safely. Read the instructions before using this product. Okay. And then finally on the bottom we have small print, fine print, legalese print, made in Vietnam print. Contents: 1 throne, assembly required, 1 figure, and accessories. Some numbers. MattelShop.com. Mattel, empowering the next generation through play. A question mark. Some other symbols I'm not going to learn. And a barcode. That, my friends, is a look at the exquisite looking packaging. Big surprise, once I've gotten the box, the outer box open, or the inner outer box, because there was another, it was in a plain brown cardboard box like mailer, and then the one that I just showed off was inside that, and then inside of that are these 2 other packages, which I was not expecting. So we'll go over those real quick. 30 points of articulation, Masterverse. That nice rocky explosion artwork, Mattel. Then on the front, got a little window showcasing some of the figure and accessories. Nice artwork there of this version of Skeletor. And then the throne here in the background. Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Skeletor. On the bottom, nothing, because it was on the outside packaging. So we've got some wraparound art here, showcasing I'm not sure what that is. That may be a preview for Dragon Breath Skeletor. Was that the name of it? I think it was. And then on this side, some more nice artwork of this version of Skeletor, this time with a snake-headed staff. And then on the back, some nice artwork of Skeletor in the completed Bone Throne. So there's that. So very, very nice. I love this Masterverse artwork. Just Masters of the Universe artwork in general. So here's this. So let's move the camera down a little bit so we can see this. And on the front, it's all embossed. So all these details that you see here are embossed into this packaging. It's got this nice Havok skull type thing and some vines growing in there in between all these rocks, and just it's fantastic. And then got some more of it here, and then here, and we'll come back to that one. So, and here, and then on the back, it's not embossed on the back, but the front and the sides are, but still just great artwork there. And then so we're coming back here, and we have Skeletor inside the little bat logo, and then you flip this flap up, and then you can see how it's all embossed in there in the cardboard, and then it says Evil Lord of Destruction, and this stuff is not embossed. And then, you know, very carefully wrapped in here is the parts for the throne. So that is really cool and an unexpected surprise, at least to me. Well, there you have it, my friends. Maybe that is the final look at the packaging for this figure. Usually, folks, I don't go for doing assembly on video because there's just too much that can go wrong, and it tends to make stuff a little bit longer. But I thought in this case, this special piece, I'll go ahead and just, you know, we'll go through the pieces and the assembly. And then contents, of course, this part, Skeletor was in this separate box, and then there's the box. Then there's the throne box. This is what was inside of it, and all those paper wrappers that you could see. And then it's got some legalese there at the bottom. And then you open it up, and this first page has got the setup for the first part of assembly. Then it opens up, and then there's some more assembly instructions. And then, surprise, surprise, we were not done with that box yet. And then there it is all together. And then, let's see, what else? Here's the battery instructions. If you want to take a look at that, you can pause it. But basically, it's just a panel on the bottom, and you unscrew it with a Phillips head screwdriver. And I'm going to keep these handy because I may need them, because I am not always the best at this kind of stuff. So what it shows first is to take this little furry piece, and you can see it's got some straps here on the sides. And what you do is there's two little rectangular ports there, and you just feed these straps down in there, if I can even do that. I might need the handy dandy tweezers, because I just can't get a hold of that thing. So here we have the handy dandy tweezers. There we go, I got it. And didn't need the tweezers. There we go. And then the straps are folded over, so once you get it in there, unless you're meaning to pull them out, they won't come out. So there's that part done. Then what it shows to do next, and let's go ahead and take a look at this piece before we move on. And you can see it's got some dry brush in there for the deco, and again, this is just a soft goods piece, but nice molded details, and then just nice paint apps throughout the piece here. And then so next up we'll need the base, because that's what it shows next. And you can see again it's got nice molded details throughout it, and again a little bit of a wash here on the pieces here, the LED lights. This is the activation button, and I'll get into that when we get done. There's the battery compartment. So, and then you can see there's, you know, ports here for the chair to tab into, and then here's the matching tabs. And it looks like once you get them in there, they don't come out. So just make sure that you line it up appropriately. And I'm gonna say give it a good squeeze, but I'm giving it a good squeeze and it's not popping into place. So wait a minute, there it went. On one side, not this side though. Something in the way, doesn't look like it. Alright, give me just a minute folks, off camera time. Alright, got that all snapped into place. It just took, I just had to get it up close to me to do it. And this, you know, it flops up a little bit here and there, but it's not appropriately done. Oh, those skulls look like ants or bug people. So, okay, there's that. Let's see what is, I'm gonna knock all kinds of stuff off so we can see what is next to put on. So this piece goes on next, and it goes on the back of the chair. And let's see how it lines up. Okay, it's got a round port right here and two rectangular ports here, and then it's got a post and two tabs. And the claw spiky pieces go up, and this piece, again, nicely molded, and it does have some of that wash on it as well. So let's just line that up, and I'm guessing line it up correctly, not backwards like I was fixing to do. So line it up with the tabs, and then the round peg will line up properly, and just give it a good push and get the top in there, and then the bottom pops out, and then you get the bottom in there and the top pops out. So doesn't really feel like it's securing good. Again, give me a minute off camera folks. Alright, and we're back now. We've got that piece on there, so that's pretty good. Then the last piece that goes on the chair itself is this skull piece, and that is really cool looking, and again nice molded details, and it does have a nice wash in there. And look in there, there's eyeballs. So that is really cool, and it's on, you know, it's got the port right there, and it's got a ball up here on the top, and that just kind of pops on that ball joint. So it's a little bit, you know, it can rotate around, and you can make it look up and down, and it's got some waggle to it. So full exorcist going on there. So it might take you a minute to get that lined up properly. Then the next parts it shows going on, get some of this stuff out of the way. So the next parts going on are these like ginormous jaw pieces, and they're soft plastic or rubber. So over time it might not be a piece that lasts, and as far as I can tell, it doesn't matter which piece goes on which side. They're both exactly the same, or so it appears to me at least. But you do have a specific shape to this piece, and it does fit in, there I go bumping the camera, a specific way. So we've got this flat end here and this flat end here, and we'll just put that on and it pops in. And this piece, the instructions specifically say it is non-removable once you put these pieces in. So there is that. So those are all in place. Nice satisfying clicks there for that. Now let's see what the instructions say to do next. So next it says to install the braziers or fire pieces, or you know, whatever you want to call them. And again, they just fit right over these light pieces. And you know, the deco on this is very, very cool. This part here, like up here, is really soft, and then it becomes, you know, more solid as it goes down. And I'm assuming because there's a piece on the inside of it maybe. But just look at the dry brush and work on this. It's very, very cool. And you can see it's got some little arrow type tabs there to help it click into place. And let me see, do you have to line it up a specific way? It doesn't look like it. There's just a ring on the inside there. And once you put these on, I would imagine they don't come off either. Whew. Yeah, I imagine they don't. So if you're putting this thing together, be sure you want it to stay together. Dang, that's tough to get in there. But you can rotate these to adjust them if you want to. And then let's see, what are the last pieces? The last pieces are these snake Cobra Commander would love this. So these are for holding like the Havok staff and the snake staff, and you can see they've got three, I was going to say ports, but not ports. But that's where the snakes plug into this piece. So those posts are there for that reason, and it's got a, you know, a notch here in the back. So let's see if they go in a specific way, and they do. You can maybe see on here, there's the little tab right there, and you can see it just pops into place. So let's line that piece up and just give it a good push, and there it goes. And let's do the same thing over here on this side, and the tabs and stuff are all in the same position, and there it goes right into position. And here's the last piece that was contained in this particular box, well, except for the backdrop, and it's this snake staff, and it appears to be molded out of this gold plastic, but I don't really see any of the swirly twirlies in there. It's got a nice little paint app here for this wrap that's around it. It is kind of bent. I don't know how much of it's supposed to be that way, or if it just needs a little bit of heat application. And then just look at all that molded detail. It's very, very cool. This piece is like a soft rubbery piece, and it is painted, because you can see it does have some chipping going on there where it's just flexed in the packaging, or maybe while I was trying to get it out of the packaging. And it's a little sticky right here, so there may be some glue on it that has not completely dried, that leaked out, and maybe the heat has kind of got to it. So I don't know. Yeah, I see a little bit of it right. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but yeah. And it's, you know, it rotates, so there is that. And as far as these pieces go, you know, there's the snakes are kind of rubbery, so they will give a little bit, and it's got this nice big, you know, ball on the end of it, and you know, it's made to hold the thing in position. So let's see, there it goes. And it's even at the bottom of it, it's got a concave shape so that the staff stays upright. And the last thing we need to show before we move on, well, a couple of things still. So right here is the button right by this Ant-Man's head, or insect dude. So you push that. Maybe it's in Andrina. And I can see the lights come on. You may can see them there a little bit, and they are flickering, and I'm sure it looks much, much better with the lights off. But also, you mash the button again, and the colors will change, or at least they're supposed to. So it's flickering more now. Hit it again, you can see the flames do change color. So that's really cool. And then mash it again, and it'll give you a little bit more flickery, and it changes back to color. And just hold this button down, and the lights will fade off. And that's how you know that you have it in the off position. Now, one last thing to show here. And let me see if I can get everything adjusted properly. I probably didn't. So the surprise, the last surprise for me, I guess, was that, we're not through with the box. And here it is assembled, the box, and it's got some slots in the top of the box that I was wondering what that was for. And then this backdrop was in the very bottom of the box, and then you do have to fold it up some. So just be aware of that. If you want to use that piece, you do have to fold it up a bit. And then you just set throne there on top of it. And when you have your Skeletor out, you can. And that's about as far back as I can get with it. So I can't fit the whole thing in the shot the way that I have things set up. But that is very cool. I will probably not use the backdrop in the box for display purposes, but that's just me. Set up your display how you would like to. Now let's get into the figure and what comes in his packaging as far as accessory wise. And he does have one extra set of hands, one left and one right. One is a fist, and this is not something that we haven't seen in the line before. Nice molded details. And of course I dropped it. Nice molded details, molded in the blue plastic and in and out hinge. And the other hand, Beastman slap hand, although I think this one is a little bit different than ones we've seen before, so this one might be new with this figure. I don't recall having seen this particular hand before, but it's like it can rest on the arm of the bone throne, I guess is what this one is for, rather than slapping Beastman around. In and out hinge again, nice molded details, and it does seem to have a little bit of a paint app on it, maybe kind of a spray, and it fades from dark at the end of the fingers to lighter on the hands, or on the hand. And he's got him some sharp little fingernails on there, and you can see his knuckles, you can see the joints in his fingers. So kind of giving it a bony look, so not bad. And like I said, I do believe that's new for this particular release. Now this Havok staff, I do believe is the same one that comes with new Eternia Skeletor, the Barbarian Skeletor. And I really like this one. It has nice molded details in it, and it's really just cool looking. It's got some gloss to it. Now whether that's the material that it's made from, or if they did a glossy overlay, or if it's actually a paint app on this. So It really is a good looking Havok staff. I really would have liked to have seen some paint apps in it, maybe red in the eyes and in the inside of the mouth. That would have been cool. Or maybe some lighter tones on some of the bony parts, or maybe even the horns. But again, it does look really cool, even in solid color. Now let's take a look at Skeletor. And this one appears to be 100% reuse of the body. The only thing that's new for this guy does appear to be the head. And wow, what a head. It really takes you back to those early mini comics, and maybe that very first commercial that Filmation animated. And that's you know, mini comic and that first ad, that animated ad, really is that's the vibes that this head sculpt is really giving off. And it's a pretty cool one. I mean, just look at the sculpted detail in there. They even sculpted his eyes. They're painted and they really stand out, at least to me. And there's some other molded details up under the hood. You really can't see it with the hood on, but you can pop the head off and the hood does remove, and then you can really get in there and see those skull details in there, and you know, the dry brushes or overlays or whatever they happen to be, to kind of give it some shading in there and around here, and just really, really cool looking. And also doesn't work so well with the hood, but without the hood you can get that much range of motion from the jaw. And maybe if he looks up or something, even with the hood on, you could get it to do that. But no, I think this is a very cool head sculpt. And as far as getting it back in the hood, don't try to stick it this way in the small hole, because that don't work. You have to put it back in this way, and then it just pops right on. And while the cape piece is off, we'll go ahead and look at it. And it's the same piece that came with New Eternia, Barbarian, Skeletor. It looks really cool. It just doesn't function as good as it looks. You know, soft goods cape, I do always like that. And it's kind of, you know, a little bit tattery at the ends. This material feels a little more starched than the Barbarian Skeletor. And the part I really don't like about this one, you can see this part I don't mind. It's, you know, sculpted in where it fits over the crossbones on his chest plate. These parts, they clip into the shoulder straps, but they don't work super well. And that's my biggest issue with this piece. I mean, other than that, it looks really cool. I do wish that they had done a gold paint app rather than the purple. I wish they'd have molded it in purple and then gold paint app so that the golds would match. But with the purple paint apps, the purples match. So I guess it's, you know, one or the other. And they didn't have to paint, you know, like on the inside, just these outside gold pieces, and I would have been happy, especially on a more premium priced figure such as this. I don't think asking for that one extra paint app on this piece would have been better. However, I would have preferred something better than this piece. And again, this piece looks fine. It's just how it goes on the figure that I have issue with. It doesn't like to stay. Although I will say this one stays a little bit better than the Barbarian version. Now, another kind of issue I do have with this figure is the hood itself. And I do like the fact that it is removable, but it's, I don't know, odd shaped. And I guess it's supposed to be because, you know, his hood was a little floppy kind of looking in those early mini comics. So, but you know, and again, like I said, from the head down, it seems to be 100% reuse of that Barbarian Skeletor, and that's fine. It really works for this figure and what it's trying to be. I like the purples on the armor pieces. I think they match up really well, and I'm not sure how they accomplish that, whether it's all molded out of that same plastic with that kind of a glossy sheen to it, or how they accomplished it. But we do have these nice paint apps here on the chest piece at the crossbones, and the little jewel piece there in the middle. So I do like that, and the gold on the belt and the gold on the shin armor, the bats there. It all matches up and looks really well. Again, you know, I just wish this matched up a little better, but that's just me. Now on the back, you notice he does have the strap for the sword, the Chaos Sword, to go in if you still want to use that with this figure. And I just overall, I you know, the design I already liked for this figure, and just the paint apps that they put on this one and the new head sculpt, really I really enjoy it. I think this is probably the best looking Skeletor we've gotten out of Masterverse so far, but it's a close race with that 87 movie Skeletor. Even though that's not my favorite design for Skeletor, that figure looks really cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about his articulation. His head's on a dumbbell, and oops, the hood moves. So he can kind of look up that high. He can kind of look down that low. He's got some chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He can do the full Exorcist. 360 degrees of rotation at the shoulder. These do get in the way a little bit, but you know, they're flexible, so they will get out of the way. And then he can raise his arm up at the shoulder approximately 90 degrees. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow. And it gives you that much bend. So, cool. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge. And in and out hinge on this one as well. And both of the additional hands are in and out hinges also, if I did not mention that earlier. Cut here at where the chest and the abdomen meet, and it's on a dumbbell or a half dumbbell, a ball joint. So he gets plenty of hula. He only wants to rotate at that hinge that far, and it's, you know, a little springy. And the other way, he doesn't want to go at all, so there's that. He can lean left and right. Straight cut at the waist. And it was tight, but you do get a 360 degree rotation out of that as well. And I did forget this part. It's just a straight cut at the waist, so there's no additional back and forth articulation at the waist. So with this upper cut, he can lean back that far and lean forward about that far. Now at the hips, let's see. Okay, they may have changed something up, because I think he does have the, no, he does not have the pull down hinge, so this is the same as the other release. He can give you that much of the splits. He can kick forward that far. I would have liked to have seen a little bit better range of motion for a figure that's made to sit in a chair. Back, maybe about a half a step. Cut here at the upper thigh for another 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinless knee, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. There is a boot cut at about the mid shin. Gives you another 360 degrees of rotation. and at the ankle tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin, well, a pin in there. It gives you some rocker. It's more spinny than rocker though, isn't it? And that same paint that was on the hands or on the feet too, you can see how there's places where it's darker, and even on, looks like there's some highlights on some of the muscles here as well, and I missed all that. Not so much on the arms, maybe a little bit here on the back, and none that I can see on the chest. And as far as the cape piece going back on, again, those clips clip over these strap pieces. You just put it over his head and try to line everything up, and it doesn't always want to, so that's another issue with this particular piece. So there you have it, my friends. There's a look at the figure and what was in his individual packaging, inside the other packaging, inside the other packaging. And here, my friends, is a little bonus footage so you can see how well these lights actually work, and they do in the dark light up very, very well. In fact, they're a little bit too bright to really see well, you can see the flickering of the light, but you can't see the sculpt in the flames. So hit it again, and then it gives you a little bit more flicker, I guess. So that's actually pretty cool. And you hit the button again, and there you get that, which looks really, really cool as well. And hit it again. And I really think that lights up the best. At least it lights the figure up the best. And there's just a lot of flicker in that one. And as you can see, that one really doesn't light the face up too much. And to turn it off, just push the button and hold it down. And that does it. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Skeletor that comes with the Bone Throne. Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Barbarian Skeletor. Masters of the Universe Masterverse 1987 Movie Skeletor. Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Adventures of He-Man Skeletor. And all the way in the back there, Masters of the Universe Masterverse Revelation Horde Skeletor. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Skeletor that comes with the Havok throne, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and our final Masters of the Universe Masterverse comparison, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Skeletor and Havok Throne set, I have to say this is better than any expectations I had for it. And, you know, even though there's some reuse with the figure, which I'm mostly okay with, just overall, I really like this set. I like the look of it. I like the lights in it. I like the sculpt of it. I like the colors of it. It's just really, really cool. And I'm surprised they did this as a general release, not in stores general release, but an online general release, rather than having this be a Mattel Creations. That's really surprising to me that they did it that way. And it doesn't hurt my feelings that they didn't do it that way, because with things starting to get harder to get, at least some companies, and all companies will eventually get that way, because the pendulum is swinging back from it was all the way over at make lots and lots and lots of stuff, and it's swinging back now to the quantities are more limited. And we're starting to see that, especially with Hasbro, and it feels like McFarlane Toys as well. I haven't really felt that or seen that with Masters of the Universe, at least with Masterverse yet. So hopefully all these Masterverse releases end up still being easy to get, because I really, really enjoy this line, and I would hate to miss one that I really wanted because of supply ordering type issues. Now, the set itself, as far as the figure goes, it's mostly reuse of the new Eternia Barbarian Skeletor. It does have a bit of a different paint job on it, and the head is new, so that's really cool. And the head sculpt on this one, it really gives me the feels for those early mini comics that came with the figures, and that very first toy commercial that Filmation did, just kind of as a test ground for doing an animated show. That head sculpt really, really reminds me of that, and I think it's a fun piece for this figure, and I'm glad that they did that rather than just reusing one of the heads from that previous release of Skeletor. And it's weird though, you can't move the jaw a whole lot with the hood on, but you take the hood off and it moves fairly well. The one thing that really bugs me about the figure is the armor piece that the cape is attached to, with the gold of it not being painted. It's molded in that gold plastic, and then it's got that purple paint on it, and it just makes where the golds don't match up. And I really, really wish they'd have gone that little extra step with this figure and made those golds match up with paint, rather than letting them be, two-tone like that. And that is my biggest real complaint about this figure. Now, would I have liked to have seen them use one of the updated hip parts with the drop-down hinge? Yes, I think that would have worked a lot better for this figure and give him just a little bit more room where he sits back in the chair. And I don't think it would have been that hard for them to do that. But again, I am not a toy manufacturing expert, so maybe it was, and it was just cost prohibitive to do it. I don't know. But I really wish that they would have upgraded this mold with that. It really, really would have gone that extra mile. Now, as far as the Havok throne itself, I don't have any complaints at all, really, other than the base could have used some paint for those vines, and then maybe a wash on the base. But really, that's my only real complaint about the throne. I do like the sculpt of it. I like the wash that they actually did on the bone parts. I think it's really, really good looking, and it really, you know, it takes me back to those Filmation cartoons with, you know, where he's sitting in the bone throne. And the fact that they included this snake staff with it, I think that's just cool too, so that it kind of harkens back to, you know, Snake Mountain was originally inhabited by the Snake Men. And I think that's cool. And you can see the fire has gone out, the lights have gone out. So I'll turn them back on, and maybe you can see him a little bit while he's spinning around there, even though all the lights are on. But again, overall, I really, really like this set. And if you are a Skeletor fan, or even just a Masterverse fan, and you decided to pass on this, all I'm saying is maybe rethink that before it's too late. You know, collect according to your own habits, of course. I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but be sure that this one is a pass for you if you decided to pass on it. Just make 100% sure that this is something that you're going to pass on, be it whether you don't like it or the price or whatever. Just be 100% sure, because this is a piece that they probably will not do again. And I don't know that for a fact. I'm just speculating, but that's my feelings on it. And who knows, down the road, they very well could do the throne again with a different Skeletor. I don't know. But to me, it just feels like this is kind of a one-time piece. And, you know, I hope I'm wrong. If it's something financial that you passed on it for, and down the road you can afford it, I would hate for you to pay, you know, aftermarket on it, because again, this is just, to me, it's a really good piece, and your mileage may vary. And, you know, I'm not telling you that this is a must-have piece, but just be sure that if you passed on it, that you're not going to change your mind later down the road. And because I know how that's happened to me a couple of times. I've said, no, I'm going to pass on it, and then aftermarket prices, and so I end up not with the piece that I decided in the end that I really wanted. Well, my friends, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link, and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.